Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to stand before you today, but before we dive into our topic, I want you to think back to a moment, just one moment in your life when you felt fear creeping in. It may have been the fear of trying something new, the fear of rejection, or the fear of failure itself. We've all been there, haven't we? That sinking feeling, the racing heartbeat, the voice in our heads telling us, what if I fail? Failure, my friends, is a word that strikes at the core of every human being. We dread it. We avoid it. We treat it as the ultimate enemy. But let me ask you, is failure really something to be feared? Or is it perhaps the greatest teacher we will ever know? I'll tell you this, behind every success story you admire, there's a tale of failure. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he created the light bulb. Walt Disney was fired from a job for lacking imagination. J.K. Rowling's manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter came to life. And do you know what all these great individuals had in common? They didn't fear failure, they embraced it. But how do we everyday people overcome this fear of failure? That's the question, isn't it? The fear of failure can paralyze us, stop us from taking risks, and rob us of opportunities. It holds us back from living the lives we are truly capable of. So tonight we are going to talk about strategies for dealing with fear and taking risks, about how we can shift our mindset, reframe failure, and start embracing the challenges that lie ahead of us. I'm not just talking about motivational quotes or pep talks, but real, actionable steps that you can start using today to conquer that fear. Because if you're not willing to fail, you'll never be willing to truly succeed. What you'll discover tonight is that fear is not the enemy. The real enemy is letting that fear control you. And the good news is you can take control. You can change your relationship with failure, and with it, your relationship with risk. By the end of this talk, I hope you'll see failure as not the end, but as a necessary stepping stone to growth, innovation, and achievement. After all, the greatest risk in life is not failing, it's not trying at all. So sit back, take a deep breath, and let's explore how you can transform the fear of failure into a powerful force for success. And when we think of failure, our minds often paint a bleak picture: disappointment, embarrassment, and perhaps even regret. But what if we reframed our perception of failure? Instead of viewing it as a dead end, we could see it as a detour, an unexpected but essential part of our journey. In fact, many of the most successful people throughout history have done just that. They saw failure not as a personal flaw or an insurmountable obstacle, but as an opportunity to learn, improve, and ultimately grow. So the key to redefining failure as a learning opportunity lies in understanding its true nature. Failure at its core is feedback. It's a signal that something didn't go as planned, but it's not a reflection of your worth or abilities. When you fail, you gain valuable insights into what doesn't work, and this information can guide you toward future success. And think about it, every time you fall short, you're closer to discovering the approach that will eventually succeed. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." For Edison, every failed experiment was a step closer to success. He didn't take his failures personally, he saw them as essential parts of the learning process. His mindset allowed him to persist and eventually make one of the most important inventions in history. This shift in perspective from viewing failure as defeat to viewing it as a stepping stone can completely transform how we approach challenges in our own lives. So, how do we put this into practice? The first step is to detach our sense of self-worth from the outcome. Instead of thinking, "I am a failure," when something doesn't go our way, we can tell ourselves, "This attempt didn't work, but I can learn from it." This subtle shift in language helps us see the situation objectively and opens the door to improvement rather than self-criticism. Next, important to actively seek out the lessons hidden in failure. After a setback, take the time to reflect. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? How can I apply what I've learned to my next attempt? This kind of reflection turns failure into a powerful learning tool. The lessons you gain from each setback are building blocks for future success. In this way, failure becomes not just an obstacle to overcome, but a necessary part of your personal and professional growth. So moreover, when we embrace failure as a learning opportunity, we become more willing to take risks. And knowing that failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from, makes it easier to step outside our comfort zones. This shift encourages innovation, creativity, and bold decision-making, all of which are crucial elements in achieving meaningful success. Ultimately, redefining failure as a learning opportunity helps us cultivate resilience. Instead of being paralyzed by the fear of failing, we learn to embrace the process of trial and error. It allows us to keep moving forward, knowing that every setback brings us closer to our goal. After all, the only true failure is giving up before you've had the chance to learn. So the risk is an inherent part of life, and yet for many of us, The idea of taking risks can evoke feelings of fear and uncertainty. We tend to stick with what's familiar and safe, often avoiding anything that might jeopardize our sense of security. However, the truth is that growth, whether personal, professional, or otherwise, requires stepping out of that comfort zone and embracing risk. Without it, we remain stagnant, unable to unlock our full potential. To embrace risk as part of growth, we need to first shift our understanding of risk itself. Rather than viewing risk as something dangerous or negative, we can start to see it as a pathway to opportunity. Every major advancement, invention, or breakthrough in history came because someone was willing to take a risk. From entrepreneurs starting businesses to scientists pushing the boundaries of what is known, risk has always been the catalyst for progress. The same applies in our personal lives, whether it's changing careers, starting a new relationship, or learning a new skill. Each of these actions requires stepping into the unknown. The fear of risk often stems from the fear of failure, rejection, or loss. It's natural to want to avoid these outcomes. However, if we're only focused on what could go wrong, we miss out on the incredible potential of what could go right. Embracing risk means acknowledging that failure is a possibility, but also understanding that it's not the end. Instead, it's a part of the process that moves us closer to success. Without risk, there can be no reward. Without stepping into the unknown, we can't discover what's possible. A powerful example of risk leading to growth can be seen in the world of entrepreneurship. Take the story of Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. When he started Amazon in the mid-1990s, he left a stable, well-paying job on Wall Street to pursue an idea that was largely untested. At the time, the internet was still in its infancy, and the concept of an online marketplace seemed like a massive gamble. Many would have considered the risk too great, but Bezos saw it as an opportunity. He believed in the potential for growth and was willing to take the risk. Today, Amazon is one of the most successful companies in the world. And that success wouldn't have been possible without Bezos' willingness to embrace risk and take a chance on something new. Embracing risk doesn't mean acting recklessly or making decisions without consideration. Instead, it's about calculated risk-taking, making informed decisions that align with your values and goals, even if they involve uncertainty. Before taking a risk, it's important to assess both the potential rewards and the possible downsides. By carefully weighing the risks and being prepared for setbacks, you increase your chances of success while minimizing the impact of failure. One of the keys to embracing risk as part of growth is building a mindset that is open to learning and adaptable to change. When you see risk as an opportunity for learning rather than something to fear, you become more resilient. Every risk you take, whether it results in success or failure, teaches you something valuable. This willingness to learn and adapt is what fuels growth. It's what enables you to evolve, improve, and eventually achieve the goals you set out to accomplish. Another important aspect of embracing risk is recognizing that discomfort is a sign of growth. If you're feeling uneasy or unsure about a decision, it's often because you're pushing beyond your limits and stepping into unfamiliar territory. This discomfort is a natural part of the growth process. It's a sign that you're challenging yourself, and that's a good thing. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the more you expand your capabilities, build confidence, and open yourself up to new possibilities. Lastly, it's essential to remember that not all risks need to be monumental. You can start small. Taking incremental risk builds your tolerance for uncertainty and prepares you for larger challenges down the road. Each small risk you take strengthens your ability to handle bigger risks with greater confidence. Over time, you become more comfortable with uncertainty and more willing to take on challenges that once seemed intimidating. In conclusion, embracing risk as part of growth is about shifting your mindset. It's about seeing risk not as something to avoid, but as a necessary step toward achieving your dreams and unlocking new opportunities. Growth comes when we dare to step into the unknown, learn from the process, and persist despite the obstacles. Risk is not the enemy, it's the fuel for progress. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. And by embracing it, you position yourself for a life filled with growth, adventure, and achievement. One of the most significant barriers to taking risks and pursuing our goals is fear, specifically the fear of failure, rejection, or criticism. It's a powerful emotion that can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in our comfort zones. However, the key to overcoming this fear lies not in eliminating it entirely, but in transforming how we respond to it. This transformation begins with a shift in mindset, a fundamental change in the way we perceive fear, challenges, and our own abilities. Our mindset, or the set of beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world around us, plays a crucial role in how we approach fear and failure. According to psychologist Carol Dweck, people generally operate from one of two types of mindsets: a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is characterized by the belief that our abilities, intelligence, and talents are set in stone. People with this mindset tend to avoid challenges and fear failure because they see it as a reflection of their inherent limitations. On the other hand, a growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to grow and view failure as a natural part of the learning process. Shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is one of the most effective ways to overcome fear. When you believe that your abilities are not fixed and that you can improve with time and effort, failure becomes less intimidating. You start to see it not as a sign of your inadequacy, but as an opportunity to learn, adapt, and try again. This shift empowers you to embrace challenges with confidence, knowing that even if things don't go perfectly, you're capable of growing from the experience. One of the most powerful examples of this mindset shift is in the world of sports. Take Michael Jordan, widely considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Jordan famously said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed." Jordan didn't let failure define him. Instead, he used it as fuel for improvement. He believed that every failure brought him closer to success because he could learn from it and become better. This is the essence of the growth mindset, viewing failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock. But how exactly can we begin to shift our mindset and overcome fear in our own lives? The first step is to become aware of our thoughts and beliefs. Pay attention to the internal dialogue that arises when you face a challenge or the possibility of failure. Do you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do this"? If so, these are signs of a fixed mindset. The key is to challenge these negative thoughts and reframe them. Instead of thinking, "I'm not good at this," try thinking, "I'm not good at this," try thinking, "I'm not good at this yet, but I can improve with practice." This small shift in language opens the door to growth and helps you approach challenges with a more positive and empowered attitude. Another important aspect of shifting your mindset is changing your relationship with fear itself. Often we view fear as a signal to stop or retreat. However, fear is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a natural response to stepping into the unknown, and it often arises when we're on the verge of growth. Instead of seeing fear as a sign that something is wrong, start to recognize it as a signal that you're pushing beyond your limits and challenging yourself. Embrace fear as part of the process, knowing that it's an essential ingredient in achieving meaningful growth. By doing this, you can transform fear from something that holds you back into something that propels you forward. Another effective strategy for shifting your mindset is to focus on the process rather than the outcome. One of the reasons we fear failure so much is because we're fixated on the end result, whether we'll succeed or fail. However, when we shift our focus to the effort we're putting in, the skills we're developing, and the lessons we're learning along the way, the fear of failure becomes less overwhelming. This process-oriented mindset allows you to enjoy the journey and find value in the experience regardless of the outcome. Whether you succeed or fail, you've gained something valuable simply by taking the risk and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. Additionally, surrounding yourself with a supportive environment can greatly aid in shifting your mindset. Being around people who encourage growth, embrace challenges, and view failure as part of success can help reinforce a growth mindset. Positive role models, mentors, or peers who've overcome their own fears and achieved success despite setbacks can inspire you to take bold steps and reframe your own fears. By engaging with such a community, you'll feel more empowered to face your own fears and adopt a growth-oriented approach to challenges. Finally, it's essential to practice self-compassion as you work to shift your mindset. Overcoming fear and embracing a growth mindset doesn't happen overnight. You'll likely encounter setbacks and moments where fear takes over. In these moments, it's important to be kind to yourself. Acknowledge that fear is a natural part of being human, and remind yourself that growth is a journey, not a destination. By being patient and compassionate with yourself, you'll be more resilient in the face of challenges and more willing to continue pushing through fear. In conclusion, shifting your mindset to overcome fear is about moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, changing how you perceive challenges, failure, and your own abilities. By embracing the belief that you can grow and improve through effort and learning, you'll become less fearful of failure and more willing to take risks. You'll see fear not as a signal to stop, but as a sign that you're on the path to growth. This mindset shift is not only the key to overcoming fear, but also the foundation for achieving greater success and fulfillment in life. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, challenges, and failures, and it's one of the most crucial qualities needed for personal and professional success. When faced with adversity, some people fold under pressure while others rise stronger and more determined. The difference lies in resilience, the inner strength and mental toughness that allows you to navigate difficult times, learn from setbacks, and continue moving forward. Developing resilience is not about avoiding adversity, it's about learning how to deal with it effectively and emerge on the other side stronger and more capable. Adversity, whether it comes in the form of personal loss, Failure, rejection, or unforeseen challenges is an inevitable part of life. We all experience it at some point. The question is not whether we will face adversity, but how we will respond to it when it comes. This is where resilience comes in. Resilience doesn't eliminate adversity or prevent hardships from occurring, but it equips us with the tools and mindset needed to endure and thrive in the face of difficulties. One of the key aspects of developing resilience is learning how to reframe adversity. Instead of seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles or personal failures, resilient individuals view them as opportunities for growth and learning. This mindset shift is crucial because it allows you to extract valuable lessons from tough situations and use them to improve. When you see adversity as something that can make you stronger, it becomes less threatening and more manageable. You begin to approach setbacks with the belief that while difficult, they can help you develop new skills, gain insight, and ultimately succeed in future endeavors. Take the story of Nelson Mandela as an example of extraordinary resilience. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, enduring unimaginable hardships, yet he never gave up on his vision of a free and democratic South Africa. Instead of becoming bitter or broken by his circumstances, Mandela used his time in prison to reflect, learn, and grow stronger. So when he was finally released, he emerged not with hatred or vengeance, but with a spirit of reconciliation and peace that eventually helped transform his nation. So Mandela's resilience allowed him to rise above adversity and become a global symbol of strength, perseverance, and hope. So, how can we develop resilience in our own lives? One of the first steps is building emotional awareness. Resilient people are in tune with their emotions, which allows them to process adversity in a healthy way. When faced with a setback, it's natural to feel frustrated, angry, or disappointed. However, resilient individuals don't suppress or ignore these emotions. Instead, they acknowledge their feelings, but they don't let those emotions control their actions. Emotional awareness helps you avoid reacting impulsively to adversity and instead allows you to respond thoughtfully and constructively. Another critical element of resilience is maintaining a sense of purpose. People with strong resilience often have a clear sense of why they are doing what they do, whether it's a personal mission, a set of values, or long-term goals. So this sense of purpose acts as an anchor during tough times. When adversity strikes, having a strong why helps you stay grounded and focused. It reminds you that the challenges you face are part of a larger journey, and it gives you the strength to keep going, even when things get tough. And knowing that your efforts serve a greater purpose helps you persevere through setbacks with determination and hope. Your resilience is also built through adaptability. Life rarely goes according to plan, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances is a hallmark of resilience. So resilient individuals are flexible and open to adjusting their approach when faced with unexpected challenges. Rather than being rigid in their thinking, they are willing to pivot, explore new solutions, and find ways to overcome obstacles. This adaptability is particularly important because adversity often requires us to think creatively and change course. The more willing you are to adapt and evolve, the more resilient you become in the face of hardship. Building a strong support network is another essential component of resilience. No one is expected to handle adversity alone, and resilient people understand the value of seeking support from others. Whether it's family, friends, mentors, or colleagues, having people who can offer encouragement, guidance, and perspective is invaluable during difficult times. A strong support system helps you stay grounded, offers emotional comfort, and provides alternative viewpoints that can help you navigate challenges more effectively. By reaching out for help when needed, you not only strengthen your own resilience, but also build deeper connections with others who share your journey. In addition to external support, self-care is vital for developing resilience. When faced with adversity, it's easy to neglect your physical and mental well-being. However, resilient people understand the importance of taking care of themselves, especially during tough times. So this includes maintaining healthy habits such as regular exercise, proper nutrition, sufficient sleep, and mindfulness practices. These self-care activities help you stay mentally and physically strong, enabling you to handle stress and challenges more effectively. And resilience is not just about mental toughness, it's also about ensuring that your body and mind are in the best possible shape to face adversity. So one of the most important traits of resilience is persistence. Resilient individuals don't give up easily, even when things seem impossible. They possess a never-quit attitude that keeps them pushing forward, no matter how many times they stumble or fall. Persistence is not about being unrealistic or stubborn. It's about believing that success is possible and being willing to keep trying, even when the odds are against you. The more you practice persistence, the more resilient you become. Each time you overcome a challenge, your confidence grows and you develop a greater belief in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Finally, developing resilience involves learning to accept what you can't control. Not all adversity can be prevented or solved, and part of resilience is knowing when to let go of things beyond your control. Resilient individuals focus their energy on what they can change and make peace with what they cannot. By accepting certain situations, they free themselves from unnecessary frustration and focus on actions that lead to positive outcomes. This acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging that some aspects of adversity are outside your influence, and that's okay. By focusing on what's within your power, you can continue to move forward with greater clarity and resolve. In conclusion, developing resilience through adversity is about cultivating a mindset and set of behaviors that enable you to face challenges head-on, learn from them, and grow stronger. It involves emotional awareness, a sense of purpose, adaptability, support from others, self-care, persistence, and the ability to accept what you cannot control. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build over time, through experience, reflection, and conscious effort. With resilience, adversity becomes not a barrier, but a bridge to greater strength, wisdom, and success. Achieving big goals, whether personal or professional, can feel daunting and overwhelming. So the sheer size of a major ambition often intimidates us into inaction, leaving us paralyzed by the thought of the journey ahead. However, one of the most effective strategies for making significant progress toward any large goal is to break it down into smaller, manageable steps. By focusing on incremental progress, we can build momentum, gain confidence, and steadily move toward our ultimate objective. This approach not only makes the goal more achievable, but also keeps us motivated along the way. The concept of taking small steps is rooted in the idea of continuous improvement, often referred to as Kaizen in Japanese culture. Kaizen emphasizes making small, consistent changes that over time lead to substantial improvement, rather than attempting to achieve monumental success all at once. This philosophy encourages individuals to focus on making steady, incremental progress. Each small step you take builds upon the last, creating a compounding effect that brings you closer to your goal. This method has been applied successfully in industries, personal development, and sports, demonstrating its effectiveness across various fields. Consider, for example, how long-term habits are formed. If your goal is to get fit, it can be overwhelming to think about running a marathon or lifting heavy weights if you've never exercised regularly. But by breaking that big goal down into smaller, more manageable tasks, such as committing to a 10-minute walk every day or doing a few push, begin to build the foundation for bigger accomplishments. Over time, as you stick to these smaller tasks, your stamina and strength improve, and you gain the confidence to take on more challenging activities. Eventually, what seemed impossible at the start becomes achievable because of the small steps you took consistently. The power of small steps is not just about making the goal feel more achievable, it's also about building momentum. So momentum is crucial when working toward any long-term objective. When you accomplish even a small task, it creates a sense of progress and achievement, which fuels your motivation to continue. These small victories provide the encouragement you need to tackle the next step, and then the next, creating a positive cycle of progress. This is especially important when you're dealing with fear or uncertainty, as taking small steps allows you to build confidence gradually, reducing the psychological barriers that might otherwise hold you back. In addition to building momentum, breaking down large goals into smaller steps helps you stay focused. Big goals often come with many moving parts, which can make it easy to lose sight of what needs to be done. By focusing on one small task at a time, you eliminate distractions and give your full attention to the immediate challenge in front of you. So this not only increases the quality of your work, but also ensures that you're consistently moving in the right direction. And when you complete one step, you move on to the next, each action bringing you closer to your end goal. For example, let's say you have a long-term career goal of starting your own business. The sheer complexity of this objective, developing a business plan, securing funding, finding customers, can feel overwhelming. However, by breaking it down into smaller tasks, such as researching the industry, networking with professionals, or drafting an outline for your business plan, you can make progress without feeling overwhelmed. As you complete each step, you gain more knowledge, confidence, and momentum, eventually bringing your business idea closer to reality. Moreover, taking small steps reduces the fear of failure. One of the main reasons people hesitate to pursue big goals is the fear that they might fail. The idea of investing time, energy, and resources into something that might not work out can be terrifying. However, when you focus on small steps, the stakes feel lower, and the risk of failure is less intimidating. If one small step doesn't go as planned, it's easier to adjust, learn from the mistake, and try again. The cumulative effect of these small efforts allows you to build resilience and develop the skills needed to overcome obstacles, all without the paralyzing fear of catastrophic failure. Taking small steps also enhances your ability to measure progress. Large goals often have distant deadlines, which can make it hard to track how far you've come. However, when you break the goal down into smaller tasks, each step provides a measurable milestone. This allows you to celebrate small wins along the way, reinforcing your motivation and commitment to the goal. Each completed step serves as proof that you're moving forward, making the long-term goal feel more attainable and within reach. Additionally, focusing on small steps fosters flexibility and adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and as you work toward a big goal, circumstances may change. By taking small, incremental steps, you leave room for adjustments and course corrections along the way. If a particular approach isn't working, it's much easier to pivot or change direction without feeling like you've wasted too much time or energy. This adaptability is crucial in ensuring that you remain committed to your overall goal while allowing for flexibility in how you achieve it. So, an excellent real-world example of the power of small steps comes from the world of writing. Many aspiring authors dream of publishing a novel but are often intimidated by the idea of writing hundreds of pages, so the thought of sitting down to write an entire book can feel overwhelming. However, successful authors often break the process down into smaller tasks. Instead of focusing on writing a whole novel, they focus on writing one chapter or even one page at a time. Over time, these small writing sessions accumulate, and before long, they have a complete manuscript. So this same principle applies to any major project or goal. Lastly, taking small steps helps you develop discipline and consistency, two essential qualities for achieving any long-term goal. When you commit to taking small, daily actions, you create habits that support your progress. Consistency over time is what turns effort into success. Even when you don't feel particularly motivated or inspired, the discipline to take one small step keeps you moving forward. So this discipline becomes a habit, and over time, these small, consistent actions compound into significant progress. In conclusion, the importance of taking small steps toward big goals cannot be overstated. By breaking large, intimidating goals into manageable tasks, you build momentum, reduce fear, stay focused, and make measurable progress. Small steps create a clear path to success and allow for flexibility, persistence, and adaptability along the way. Whether you're striving for personal growth, professional success, or creative achievement, the journey toward any big goal begins with just one small step, and it's the accumulation of these steps that leads to greatness. When striving to overcome fear, especially the fear of failure, one of the most critical yet often overlooked factors is self-compassion. Self-compassion is the practice of being kind and understanding toward yourself, especially in times of difficulty, failure, or when you feel inadequate. Many people are their harshest critics, berating themselves for mistakes, setbacks, or any perceived shortcomings. However, cultivating self-compassion helps to counteract these negative tendencies, offering a more supportive and productive way to navigate fear and challenges. Self-compassion is not about giving yourself a free pass to avoid responsibility or effort. Instead, it's about acknowledging that as human beings, we are all fallible and imperfect. It's a recognition that failure is a natural part of life and growth, and that mistakes are opportunities for learning, not reasons to judge yourself harshly. When you practice self-compassion, you treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a close friend going through a tough time. One of the key reasons self-compassion is so important in overcoming fear is that it helps reduce the intense self-criticism that often accompanies fear of failure. When you are overly critical of yourself, you magnify the fear of making mistakes. The thought of failing becomes so frightening that it paralyzes you, making it difficult to take risks or try new things. You may avoid stepping out of your comfort zone entirely, not because you lack the ability, but because you fear the emotional pain that comes with failure and the self-judgment that follows. However, when you approach yourself with self-compassion, you create an internal environment of safety and support. Instead of attacking yourself for falling short, you recognize that failure is part of the process and that you are still worthy and capable despite setbacks. This mindset shift makes it easier to take risks because you know that even if things don't go perfectly, you won't beat yourself up over it. Self-compassion acts as a buffer against the emotional sting of failure, giving you the courage to try, fail, and try again without fear of self-judgment. Self-compassion also fosters resilience, which is essential when facing fear. Life is full of challenges and uncertainties, and resilience is what allows you to bounce back from setbacks. When you are kind to yourself in the face of difficulty, you build emotional strength. Instead of being consumed by feelings of inadequacy or defeat, self-compassion helps you maintain perspective. You realize that everyone experiences failure and struggles at times, and these moments do not define your worth or potential. This resilience, born out of self-compassion, empowers you to persevere through challenges and continue working toward your goals even in the face of fear. Moreover, self-compassion promotes a growth mindset, which is crucial for overcoming fear of failure. When you are compassionate toward yourself, you are more likely to view mistakes as learning opportunities rather than as reflections of your inadequacy. You begin to see failure as a temporary setback, not a permanent reflection of your abilities. This growth-oriented approach encourages you to keep improving and learning rather than becoming discouraged and giving up after encountering difficulties. A self-compassionate mindset allows you to embrace the process of growth and development, which naturally involves making mistakes along the way. Another powerful benefit of self-compassion is that it reduces the fear of being judged by others. Often our fear of failure is compounded by the worry of how others will perceive us if we don't succeed. We fear criticism, rejection, or even ridicule from our peers, colleagues, or family. This external pressure can make the fear of failure feel overwhelming, as it not only involves personal disappointment but also the possibility of social judgment. However, when you practice self-compassion, you become less dependent on external validation. You no longer need the approval of others to feel worthy or successful. By offering yourself kindness and understanding, you reduce the need for external validation, making it easier to take risks and face challenges without being crippled by the fear of others' opinions. Self-compassion also helps to reduce the anxiety that often accompanies fear of failure. Fear can trigger intense stress and anxiety, causing you to overthink every decision or action you take. You may become consumed by worst-case scenarios or catastrophizing, where you imagine that a single failure will lead to disastrous consequences. This kind of thinking not only increases your fear, but also makes it harder to think clearly and take positive action. However, self-compassion helps calm this anxiety by reminding you that mistakes are not the end of the world and that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. It gives you the emotional space to approach challenges with a more balanced and less fearful perspective. One of the core components of self-compassion, as described by researcher Dr. Kristen Neff, is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you are mindful, you can recognize when fear arises, but instead of letting it take over or trying to suppress it, you acknowledge it with curiosity and kindness. This allows you to experience fear without being overwhelmed by it. Mindfulness helps you create a healthy distance from your fears, enabling you to respond to them more thoughtfully rather than react impulsively out of fear or panic. By practicing mindfulness, you can face your fears with greater clarity and calmness, knowing that they do not define you or your abilities. Finally, self-compassion is vital for maintaining motivation and persistence. When fear leads to failure or setbacks, it's easy to lose motivation and feel disheartened. Many people give up after experiencing a failure because they believe they are not capable of success. However, self-compassion helps you stay motivated by reminding you that setbacks are part of the process and that your worth is not contingent on flawless success. Instead of feeling discouraged, self-compassion encourages you to pick yourself up, reflect on what you can learn, and try again with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. In conclusion, self-compassion plays a critical role in overcoming the fear of failure. It allows you to navigate fear and setbacks with kindness, understanding, and emotional resilience. By reducing self-criticism, fostering a growth mindset, and building inner strength, self-compassion empowers you to take risks, learn from your mistakes, and continue striving for your goals without being paralyzed by fear. When you treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend, you create an environment of support and encouragement that helps you overcome fear and achieve success. And one of the main reasons people fear failure is that they are overly fixated outcomes, whether it's winning, getting a promotion, or achieving a specific goal. When you place all your attention on the end result, failure becomes something to avoid at all costs because it represents a deviation from the desired outcome. This kind of thinking can be paralyzing as it creates an environment where the only acceptable result is success. However, shifting your focus from outcomes to the learning process can help reduce the fear of failure and create a healthier, more productive approach to challenges and risk-taking. When you focus solely on the outcome, it's easy to equate failure with inadequacy, or you start thinking in terms of win or lose, succeed or fail, which leaves little room for growth or learning. In this mindset, any result short of success can feel like a personal shortcoming, triggering self-doubt, anxiety, and fear. This pressure can be overwhelming, causing you to avoid taking risks, try new things, or pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. By concentrating only on the final result, you rob yourself of valuable experiences and lessons that come from the process itself. Shifting focus to the learning process means recognizing that growth and improvement happen through the journey, not just at the destination. It's about valuing the skills, knowledge, and insights you gain along the way, regardless of whether you achieve the desired outcome. This perspective allows you to see failure as an opportunity to learn rather than something to fear or avoid. It helps you view setbacks not as proof of inadequacy, but as essential steps toward mastery, growth, and eventual success. Consider the mindset of top athletes, artists, or entrepreneurs. They didn't achieve success by focusing solely on winning or achieving their end goals. Instead, they understood that excellence comes from dedicating themselves to the process, training, practice, learning, and improvement. The outcome, whether it's winning a competition or launching a successful business, is the result of years of hard work, learning from mistakes, and refining their craft. By embracing the process, they not only reduce the fear of failure, but also improve their chances of success in the long run. And one of the key benefits of focusing on the learning process is that it helps you develop a growth mindset. As psychologist Carol Dweck famously articulated, a growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. People with a growth mindset see challenges and failures as opportunities to learn and improve, while those with a fixed mindset view failure as a reflection of their inherent abilities. When you adopt a growth mindset by focusing on the learning process, failure becomes less intimidating because it's seen as a natural part of the journey toward growth. Focusing on the learning process also helps you stay resilient in the face of setbacks. When your attention is on learning and improving, you become more adaptable and less likely to be discouraged by failure. You start to ask important questions after a setback, like, what can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? What adjustments can I make? This approach encourages reflection and adaptation, which are critical for overcoming challenges and ultimately achieving your goals. It helps you see failure not as an endpoint, but as a stepping stone to future success. Furthermore, shifting focus to the learning process promotes patience and persistence. When you are outcome-driven, it's easy to become frustrated if you don't see immediate results. This impatience can lead to giving up too soon or abandoning goals that may have required more time to materialize. On the other hand, when you value the process, you understand that meaningful progress takes time. So this patience allows you to keep moving forward, even when the outcome seems distant or uncertain. It helps you stay committed to your efforts, knowing that the lessons you learn along the way will eventually contribute to your success. Another advantage of focusing on the process is that it reduces performance pressure. When you are solely concerned with the outcome, every decision, action, or performance is high stakes. This pressure can lead to anxiety, stress, and fear of failure, which in turn affects your ability to perform well. However, when you focus on the process, the pressure diminishes because you are not fixated on a single result. You allow yourself to be present in the moment, fully engaged in the task at hand. This mindfulness enhances your performance because you're not weighed down by the fear of a specific outcome. Instead, you're focused on doing your best and learning as much as you can along the way. For example, think about a student preparing for a major exam. If the student is focused solely on getting a perfect score, the pressure to perform can be overwhelming, leading to anxiety and stress that may impair their ability to study effectively. However, if the student shifts their focus to the learning process, understanding the material, improving study techniques, and gradually mastering the subject, they are likely to feel less pressure and more enjoyment in their studies. In this case, the learning process itself becomes the goal, and the outcome, the exam score, is simply a reflection of the progress made along the way. Shifting focus to the learning process also helps you celebrate small victories. Big achievements take time, and when you're solely focused on the final outcome, it's easy to overlook the progress you've made along the way. However, by valuing the learning process, you begin to recognize and celebrate incremental improvements, whether it's learning a new skill, solving a problem, or making a slight improvement in performance. These small wins provide motivation, build confidence, and reinforce the belief that you are moving in the right direction, even if the ultimate goal is still on the horizon. Another important aspect of focusing on the process is that it encourages experimentation and creativity. When you're outcome-driven, you might stick to familiar methods or avoid taking risks because you don't want to jeopardize the result. This can stifle innovation and creativity. However, when you value the process, you become more willing to experiment, take risks, and try new approaches. You understand that not every experiment will lead to success, but each one will offer valuable insights that contribute to your learning and improvement. So this openness to experimentation fosters creativity and innovation, which are often key drivers of success in any field. In conclusion, shifting your focus from outcomes to the learning process is a powerful way to overcome the fear of failure. By valuing the journey rather than just the destination, you reduce the pressure of success, embrace mistakes as opportunities for growth, and develop resilience, patience, and creativity. This process-oriented mindset helps you stay committed to your goals, even in the face of setbacks, and ultimately increases your chances of achieving long-term success. That when you focus on learning and growth, failure becomes less of a threat and more of a stepping stone on the path to success. The fear of rejection is one of the most common and deeply ingrained fears people experience, and it can be a significant barrier to success and personal growth. rejection stings because it touches on one of our most fundamental human needs, the desire to belong and be accepted. Whether it's in relationships, the workplace, or pursuing personal goals, the fear of being turned away, criticized, or dismissed can make people hesitate to take risks or put themselves out there. However, facing the fear of rejection head-on is crucial for building resilience, confidence, and the courage to take meaningful risks. At its core, the fear of rejection is rooted in our social nature. Humans are wired for connection, and throughout history, being accepted by a group was essential for survival. This primal need for approval often carries over into modern life, even in situations where rejection doesn't pose any real threat to our survival. However, the emotional pain associated with rejection can feel just as powerful, leading to feelings of embarrassment, inadequacy, or loneliness. These feelings can hold people back from expressing their true selves, pursuing opportunities, or taking risks that could lead to success. To overcome the fear of rejection, it's essential to recognize that rejection is an inevitable part of life. No one goes through life without experiencing rejection in some form, whether it's being turned down for a job, facing criticism from others, or experiencing a breakup in a relationship. The key to overcoming this fear is to understand that rejection is not a reflection of your worth or abilities, but simply a part of the process of growth and discovery. By facing rejection head-on, you can develop a healthier mindset that allows you to move forward, learn from the experience, and become stronger in the face of future challenges. One of the most important aspects of facing the fear of rejection is recognizing that rejection is often not personal. When someone turns you down or criticizes your work, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are flawed or unworthy. People's reactions and decisions are influenced by a wide range of factors, many of which have nothing to do with you as an individual. For example, if you apply for a job and don't get selected, it may simply be that another candidate had more relevant experience or the company's needs shifted. It doesn't mean you weren't good enough or that you failed, it simply wasn't the right fit at that moment. Understanding this can help you depersonalize rejection and reduce the emotional weight it carries. Another key strategy for facing the fear of rejection is to change your perspective on it. Instead of viewing rejection as something to be feared or avoided, try to see it as a valuable learning experience. Every rejection carries important lessons about what works, what doesn't, and how you can improve moving forward. Rejection can provide clarity about where your strengths and weaknesses lie, giving you the opportunity to refine your skills, approach, or mindset. For example, if you pitch an idea to a client and they reject it, you might learn that your proposal didn't fully address their needs, giving you insight on how to better tailor future presentations. When you embrace rejection as part of the learning process, it becomes less about failure and more about growth. One powerful way to build resilience against the fear of rejection is to expose yourself to it intentionally. This concept, known as rejection therapy or rejection practice, involves putting yourself in situations where you are likely to experience rejection, not for the sake of failure, but to desensitize yourself to the fear of it. By regularly facing small rejections, such as asking for a discount at a store, requesting something unusual, or seeking feedback on a project, you start to realize that rejection isn't as devastating as it may feel in the moment. With time, you become more comfortable with hearing no and more willing to take risks, knowing that rejection is not the end of the road. One famous example of rejection practice comes from Jia Jiang, author of Rejection Proof, who undertook a 100-day challenge to seek out rejection intentionally. Each day he would ask for something he thought would result in a no, such as asking a stranger to borrow $100 or requesting a burger refill at a fast food restaurant. While many of his requests were indeed rejected, he was surprised by how often people said yes to his unusual asks. More importantly, the challenge helped him overcome his fear of rejection, proving that hearing no wasn't as painful or life-altering as he had imagined. Through this process, Jiang demonstrated that by seeking out rejection, you can build confidence and resilience, making it easier to pursue your goals without fear. In addition to practicing rejection, it's also important to reframe your thinking about what rejection means. Often people fear rejection because they interpret it as a sign of failure or inadequacy. However, rejection is often a sign that you're pushing your limits and stepping outside your comfort zone. The more ambitious your goals, the more likely you are to encounter rejection along the way. If you never experience rejection, it may be a sign that you're not challenging yourself enough or that you're playing it too safe. In this sense, rejection can be a positive indicator that you're growing and striving for something bigger. By changing your mindset, you can start to view rejection as a normal part of the process of success. Moreover, facing the fear of rejection requires you to cultivate self-acceptance. Rejection can hurt because it sometimes confirms our deepest insecurities or feelings of inadequacy. However, when you develop a strong sense of self-worth and acceptance, rejection becomes less threatening. You realize that your value isn't contingent on someone else's approval or validation. Whether someone says yes or no to your request or idea doesn't change who you are or what you're capable of. This inner confidence allows you to face rejection without letting it define you. The stronger your self-acceptance, the easier it is to bounce back from rejection and continue moving forward. Additionally, handling rejection gracefully can improve your long-term relationships and opportunities. How you respond to rejection often leaves a lasting impression on others. If you react with grace, professionalism, and a willingness to learn, people are more likely to respect you and keep you in mind for future opportunities. For example, if you're turned down for a job, responding with a gracious email thanking the employer for their time and asking for feedback can leave a positive impression. This kind of mature response shows that you're resilient, growth-oriented, and not easily discouraged, qualities that could lead to future opportunities with the same employer or others in the field. It's also important to recognize that rejection often opens the door to new opportunities. While one door may close, another may open as a result of the rejection. Sometimes being rejected from one path leads you to discover a better, more fulfilling option that you wouldn't have considered otherwise. Many successful people, from writers to entrepreneurs to athletes, faced rejection early in their careers only to find greater success later on. For example, J.K. Rowling was famously rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a global sensation. Her story, like many others, illustrates that rejection can be a detour, not a dead end. Facing rejection with resilience and an open mind allows you to stay flexible and embrace new opportunities that may come your way. In conclusion, facing the fear of rejection head-on is essential for personal and professional growth. By recognizing that rejection is a normal part of life, changing your perspective on it, and practicing resilience, you can reduce the emotional impact of rejection and develop the courage to take risks. Learning to handle rejection with grace, self-acceptance, and a focus on growth will empower you to pursue your goals fearlessly, knowing that every no brings you closer to the next yes. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth, but a stepping stone on the path to success, and by confronting it directly, you unlock new opportunities and greater confidence in yourself. Building confidence is a gradual process, and one of the most effective ways to do this is by accumulating small wins. Small wins are manageable, achievables that give you a sense of accomplishment and reinforce your belief in your abilities. They act as stepping stones toward larger goals, allowing you to build momentum and confidence over time. By focusing on these incremental victories, you create a foundation of self-assurance that helps you tackle bigger challenges with greater ease and less fear of failure. Confidence often suffers when people set unrealistic or overly ambitious goals that feel overwhelming or unattainable. When you aim too high without breaking down the journey into smaller, manageable steps, the gap between where you are and where you want to be can seem insurmountable. This can lead to feelings of self-doubt, frustration, or even paralysis as the fear of failure looms large. On the other hand, small wins provide a sense of progress and satisfaction, helping to build your belief in your own capabilities. Each small win serves as proof that you are moving in the right direction and capable of achieving your goals step by step. Psychologist Carl E. Wake introduced the concept of small wins as a way to understand how significant achievements often result from a series of minor successes. He argued that small wins are important because they reduce the sense of complexity and difficulty in achieving larger goals. When a problem seems vast or unmanageable, breaking it down into smaller components makes it more approachable and less intimidating. This applies to building confidence as well. When you focus on achieving small, concrete tasks, you make progress visible and tangible, which boosts your confidence and motivates you to keep going. One of the reasons small wins are so powerful is that they provide immediate feedback. Unlike long-term goals, which can take months or years to achieve, small wins offer a quicker sense of accomplishment. This immediate positive reinforcement gives you a psychological boost and encourages you to continue taking action. When you accomplish a small win, your brain releases dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. This reward makes you feel good about your progress and creates a positive feedback loop that encourages further action. Over time, this cycle of effort, reward, and motivation helps build a strong sense of self-confidence. For example, let's say you want to run a marathon, but the idea of running 26.2 miles feels overwhelming, especially if you're not a regular runner. Instead of focusing on the full marathon distance, you can set small, achievable goals like running 1 mile, then 2, and gradually increasing your distance over time. Each time you reach one of these smaller goals, you experience a sense of accomplishment. which builds your confidence in your ability to eventually complete the marathon. By breaking down the larger goal into small, manageable wins, you reduce the fear of failure and build confidence through a series of successes. Another important aspect of building confidence through small wins is the concept of mastery. Mastery involves gradually improving your skills and knowledge in a specific area through practice and experience. Small wins contribute to mastery by allowing you to focus on one aspect of a challenge at a time, perfecting it before moving on to the next. As you accumulate small wins, you develop a deeper sense of competence and expertise, which in turn boosts your confidence. For example, if you're learning a new language, you might start with simple vocabulary and phrases, mastering them before progressing to more complex grammar and conversations. Each small win in your language learning journey contributes to your sense of mastery and builds your confidence in your ability to communicate effectively. Small wins are also important for overcoming the fear of failure because they create a sense of control. When you break down larger goals into smaller tasks, you feel more in control of the process and the outcome. This reduces the anxiety and fear associated with taking on big challenges. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the uncertainty of a large goal, you can focus on what's immediately in front of you, whether it's completing a single task, learning a new skill, or overcoming a minor obstacle. By focusing on what you can control, you reduce the fear of the unknown and build confidence in your ability to handle each step of the journey. So in addition to providing a sense of control, small wins also help build resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward even in the face of challenges or failures. So when you focus on small wins, you develop the habit of persevering through difficulties because each small success reinforces your belief in your ability to overcome obstacles. This resilience is crucial for building confidence because it helps you maintain a positive mindset even when things don't go as planned. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, you see them as part of the learning process and stay motivated to continue pursuing your goals. One of the most powerful examples of small wins building confidence comes from the world of sports. Athletes, whether they're beginners or seasoned professionals, often use small goals to build their confidence and improve their performance. A basketball player, for instance, might start by practicing free throws, focusing on making 10 successful shots in a row. Once they achieve this small win, they can move on to more challenging skills like shooting from different positions on the court. Each small win boosts their confidence, reinforces their skills, and prepares them for bigger challenges, such as performing well in a competitive game. This same principle applies to any area of life, whether it's learning a new skill, improving at work, or pursuing personal development. Building confidence through small wins also requires celebrating and acknowledging each success, no matter how small. Often people focus so much on their end goal that they forget to recognize the progress they're making along the way. So by taking the time to celebrate each small win, you reinforce the positive feelings associated with achievement and build momentum for future success. Celebrating small wins doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be as simple as giving yourself a moment of recognition, sharing your success with a friend, or rewarding yourself with a small treat. These celebrations create a sense of pride and motivation, helping you stay focused and confident as you work toward larger goals. Moreover, small wins create a sense of momentum, which is essential for building confidence. Momentum is the feeling of moving forward with increasing energy and motivation. But when you achieve one small win, it creates a positive momentum that propels you toward the next win and then the next. This momentum helps you overcome inertia and stay committed to your goals even when the going gets tough. The more small wins you accumulate, the more confident you become in your ability to succeed, and the easier it is to take on bigger challenges. For example, if you're trying to build a new habit, like exercising regularly, small wins can help you maintain momentum. You might start by committing to a 10-minute workout each day, which is a small, manageable goal. After consistently achieving this small win, you build the confidence to increase the duration or intensity of your workouts. Over time, these small wins add up, and you find yourself making significant progress toward your larger fitness goals. Each small win reinforces your belief in your ability to stick with the habit and achieve long-term success. In conclusion, building confidence through small wins is a powerful strategy for overcoming the fear of failure and achieving long-term success. By breaking down larger goals into manageable, achievable tasks, you create a sense of progress, control, and accomplishment that reinforces your belief in your abilities. Small wins provide immediate feedback, build resilience, and create momentum, helping you stay motivated and confident as you pursue your goals. By focusing on and celebrating these incremental successes, you not only build confidence, but also set yourself up for greater achievements in the future. Embracing a growth mindset is one of the most transformative strategies for overcoming the fear of failure and achieving success. Coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, the concept of a growth mindset refers to the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication, effort, and learning from experiences. In contrast, a fixed mindset assumes that talents and intelligence are static and unchangeable. Understanding and adopting a growth mindset can significantly alter how we perceive challenges, failures, and ultimately our potential for success. At the core of a growth mindset is the idea that failure is not a final destination but rather an integral part of the learning process. When we adopt this perspective, we begin to view failures as valuable opportunities for growth and development rather than as reflections of our worth or capabilities. This shift in mindset encourages resilience and perseverance, enabling us to bounce back from setbacks and keep pushing forward, even when faced with obstacles. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity allows us to approach challenges with curiosity and a willingness to experiment, rather than with fear and trepidation. One of the significant advantages of a growth mindset is its impact on motivation. When we believe that our efforts can lead to improvement and success, we become more motivated to take risks and pursue new challenges. This is particularly important in a world where innovation and progress often require stepping outside our comfort zones. A growth mindset fosters a sense of intrinsic motivation, as we are driven by the desire to learn and grow rather than solely seeking external validation or avoiding failure. This intrinsic motivation not only enhances our performance but also contributes to a more fulfilling and enjoyable journey toward our goals. In practical terms, embracing a growth mindset involves changing the way we think and talk about ourselves and our abilities. Instead of saying, "I'm just not good at this," we can reframe our language to reflect a growth-oriented perspective. "I'm not good at this yet, but I can improve with practice." This subtle shift in language highlights the potential for growth and reinforces the idea that effort and perseverance can lead to improvement. By changing our internal dialogue, we create a more positive and empowering narrative about our capabilities, which can help mitigate the fear of failure. Another important aspect of a growth mindset is the willingness to seek feedback and learn from others. When we embrace a growth mindset, we recognize that we don't have all the answers, and we are open to learning from those around us. Constructive feedback is viewed as a gift rather than a criticism, as it provides valuable insights into areas for improvement. This openness to feedback encourages collaboration and fosters an environment where learning and growth are prioritized. By surrounding ourselves with people who share a growth mindset, we can create a supportive community that encourages experimentation and helps us overcome the fear of failure. One effective strategy for developing a growth mindset is to practice self-reflection. Regularly taking the time to reflect on our experiences, challenges, and successes allows us to gain insights into our thought patterns and behaviors. We can ask ourselves questions like, "What did I learn from this experience?" or "How can I apply this lesson to future challenges?" This practice encourages a deeper understanding of our strengths and weaknesses and helps us recognize that growth is a continuous journey. By embracing self-reflection, we can cultivate a mindset that values learning over perfection and encourages us to embrace challenges with confidence. Moreover, embracing a growth mindset also means redefining our relationship with success and failure. In a fixed mindset, failure is seen as a setback, while success is viewed as a marker of innate ability. In contrast, a growth mindset reframes these concepts, recognizing that both success and failure are part of the learning process. Success is celebrated not just for the outcome but for the effort, resilience, and learning that led to it. Likewise, failure is not seen as a reflection of our worth but as an opportunity to grow and improve. This reframing reduces the fear associated with failure and encourages us to take risks, knowing that every experience, successful or not, contributes to our development. In addition to redefining success and failure, cultivating a growth mindset involves setting realistic, process-oriented goals rather than outcome-oriented ones. Process-oriented goals focus on the steps we need to take to improve our skills and abilities, such as dedicating time to practice, seeking feedback, or learning from mistakes. By concentrating on these smaller, actionable steps, we shift our focus from solely achieving a specific outcome to valuing the learning journey itself. This approach not only alleviates the pressure associated with performance but also helps us celebrate progress and growth along the way. The impact of a growth mindset extends beyond individual experiences. It can also influence how we interact with others. When we embrace a growth mindset, we become more empathetic and supportive of those around us. We recognize that everyone is on their own journey of growth, and we are more likely to encourage and uplift others as they navigate their challenges. This supportive environment fosters collaboration and creates a culture where taking risks is celebrated rather than feared. By promoting a growth mindset in our communities, workplaces, and relationships, we contribute to a collective shift away from the fear of failure and toward a culture of learning, resilience, and growth. In conclusion, embracing a growth mindset is a powerful strategy for overcoming the fear of failure and unlocking our potential for success. By viewing failure as a valuable learning opportunity, fostering intrinsic motivation, seeking feedback, practicing self-reflection, and redefining our relationship with success and failure, we can cultivate resilience and confidence in ourselves. A growth mindset empowers us to take risks, pursue challenges, and ultimately achieve our goals while also fostering a supportive environment for others to do the same. In a world where change and uncertainty are constants, embracing a growth mindset is essential for navigating the complexities of life and realizing our true potential. In conclusion, overcoming the fear of failure is not merely about avoiding setbacks, it is about embracing the challenges that life presents us with and recognizing the immense potential for growth that lies within them. By applying the strategies we've discussed today, reframing our perspectives, setting achievable goals, cultivating a support network, learning from mistakes, and nurturing a growth mindset, we empower ourselves to face the uncertainties of life with courage and resilience. Each of us has the capacity to turn fear into a catalyst for personal growth and development. You remember, the road to success is rarely a straight path. It is often paved with obstacles, setbacks, and invaluable lessons. When we shift our mindset to view these challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, we transform our approach to life and unlock our true potential. As you leave here today, I encourage you to take these strategies to heart. Reflect on your own fears and consider how you can shift your perspective. Celebrate your small wins, seek support, and embrace the journey of learning that comes with each step you take. Remember, failure is not a reflection of your worth, it is simply a stepping stone on the path to success. But let us commit to creating a culture where fear does not hold us back but propels us forward. Together, we can inspire each other to take risks, learn from our experiences, and ultimately achieve greatness. So thank you for your time, and I wish you all the best on your journey toward overcoming fear and embracing the possibilities that await you.